how do I address hesitations about marriage due to my girlfriend's plans and some financial concerns?
I think the first thing is you take ownership of your hesitations and don't put them on her.
Absolutely. And I want to preface this by saying, like, we have a great relationship and I absolutely want to marry her. But I've also noticed that I've been internally wrestling with two hurdles that I can tell are keeping me from saying, all right, let's do this thing. So the hurdle one is she wants to move states away from my family. And I also would rather live in a different state, but I haven't fully accepted the reality of raising my kids away from my parents. And I just want my parents to be involved in my childhood's or my kids' childhood. And then hurdle two is her mother is going to need assistance, and my girlfriend wants to be a stay-at-home mom, and I'm concerned with raising a family on a single income with the potential of also supporting my future mother-in-law. And I currently make a good salary, but I just feel like it's not enough. And like you said on ownership, I'm just wondering if I'm holding on to not stepping up and owning these things and just saying, babe, I love you. I'm going to go through life with you and we're going to figure everything out along the way.
You just nailed it right there.
Mm.
Every single person I know, myself included, has had to grieve the fact that they had a picture in their head of how their parents were going to be involved and it didn't look like that in reality.
Yeah.
That was never on my wife. That was on me.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, it wasn't on me. My parents are grown-ups. They get to do what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And because I don't come from a home of billionaires, they didn't buy me a house and a plot of land and give me a job next door to them.
Yeah.
And so I had to do what I thought was best for my family. Actually, me and my wife did.
Yeah.
Right? And so I moved away.
Yeah.
And I grieve that. Bums me out. And they have jobs, they have lives, they've got a whole world too.
Yeah.
Right? How old is your wife, your soon-to-be wife's mom?
She's around 60.
Okay. So you're projecting a potential challenge 20 years from now.
Yes. She does have, she's had a lot of hardships and still is having health issues and currently has someone help her out throughout the week. But I guess I'm concerned, like I'm a little stressed about being a single income home.
Okay, what's the number?
110,000.
No, not that. Not your income. Not your income.
Gotcha.
I'm talking about if you sat down with your wife and you said, I want to have this much money in the bank for the day your mom says I need to move in with you.
Mm.
Would you knuckle down for 2 years with us and we're just going to funnel that money into an account?
Yeah.
And this is my commitment. This is my, not my commitment to you fund, but I don't want to be an anxious mess walking around all the time.
Absolutely.
And do you know if her mom has support, if there's federal programs, if there's money?
I don't believe so.
Do you know that to be true though?
I know that she gets assistance through the government right now.
Okay. So I don't know that I would count on that just going away. Maybe. Who knows what's going to happen in 20 years.
Yeah.
But let me pan back 30,000 feet and look at this with you. Up in the clouds looking down, okay?
Okay.
There's a 1,000% chance y'all have struggles your first year of marriage.
Yes.
There's a 1,000% chance at some point one of you gets laid off, one of your job changes dramatically, you've got a wild swing up or down in finances. One or both of your... if y'all stay married long enough, all of your parents will pass away.
Yeah.
All of your parents will do something at some point that you wish they hadn't done, revolving on your grandkids or your marriage or something.
Yeah.
And so trying to pre-solve all of those problems, or as Brene Brown says, trying to dress rehearse tragedy. What it does is it does two things. Number one, it's fake, it's false. It gives you a false sense of security that you have any idea what it's going to actually feel like when your mom passes.
Yeah.
Any idea what it feels like when your mother-in-law decides, I'm moving in. And of course, that's the month your wife's going to find out she's having twins. Right?
Yeah.
Or that you thought it was going to feel like when there's a big economic correction and everybody's job goes away. Like dress rehearsing, there's something about having a math problem, right? I'm with you. I want a number. I want a number in a savings account. It's my emergency fund. I'm with you on that. But anything else is me using future pain as a way to numb a current present day decision I need to make. It's a Xanax.
So true.
Okay. The second part of it is, here's the only question you need to ask yourself. Will I wake up every single day and come what may, good stuff, bad stuff, I will make it my mission to love you in the best way that I know how. And part two to that is, vulnerably, will you make that same commitment that you'll wake up every day and decide to love me the best way you know how? Because together we can get through anything.
Yeah. That's beautiful. And she's the type of girl that will do that. She'll do that with me, and I'll do that with her.
So are you in?
I'm in. I'm all in.
Game on?
Game on.
Okay. If you get married and mom needs a place to go and wife says the only right move is mom to move in with us, then y'all figure that problem out together.
Yep.
And if you say, I see what's coming and I don't want to have a mother-in-law living with me, then break up with your girlfriend and set her free. But holding on to one of those things and holding your girlfriend, future wife's head underwater is not fair.
Yeah. And I can feel that that's a pain point for me right now. But when I go back to that 30,000 foot view, like you said, like she's the one that I want to go through life with.
Okay. So it might be you saying, okay, what is it about having an elderly person in my house? Is it that I can't walk around in my underwear? Is it that I'm worried about money? And if it keeps coming back to your fear of money, I grew up in a home that it was sketchy on groceries sometimes.
Yeah.
We never went hungry, but man, it was pretty dang close. And my dad borrowed a lot from groceries sometimes.
Yeah.
So the challenge was me working through my money anxiety. Had nothing to do with wanting to take care of an elderly woman in the most honorable way possible. Had to do with I felt less than and insecure.
Yep.
And that's a me problem. That's a you problem, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
And by the way, brother, if you're like 99.9% of us, you're still going to feel nervous. It's okay. How long have you been together?
I think, almost 2 years.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 32.
Man, you know.
I know.
So what's the hang up? Give me a 10-second hang up.
I think right now I see my sister with her kids and my parents, and I see that picture that I had in my mind. And it's just tough for me, you know? Like when I grew up, we were at my grandparents all the time, and running around in the cul-de-sac, and it's tough to, I guess, remove that, from my future kids.
When you think of it that way, you've made it an item of scarcity.
Yes.
It was an awesome blessing that you had grown up like that. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And the world is different now.
Yeah.
And it's very, very expensive to start a young family in California.
Yeah.
It's prohibitive. And so, what does it look like to, like me and my family just did the other day, have some adoptive grandparents on your street? My son still goes when we go to West Texas. There was a Miss Tarver who lived next door. She was in her late 80s, maybe early 90s. She would share Fig Newtons, and he would pull up little weeds in her garden, and they hung out. My son was 2. He was 3. He was 4. They were best buddies. I would have done anything for that to be my mom, but it wasn't. My mom was a professor in another state, in another town. And so I grieve, like, oh man, that would be, whew. And it made my grandparents' house my parents, my kids' grandparents' house that much more special when we went and visited. It made it a magical place, to the point now that my son says he has to live a minimum of 1 hour away from me just because he wants it to be magic when he comes home. All I have to say is you get to inject what happens next, the joy, the laughter, the fun, the excitement. And none of it, trying to recreate your childhood, won't be what you remember it to be in reality. But also, man, it robs you of any future adventure you can stumble into. And think of you the way your sister's doing it right now. That's like her having a car that you want. That's cool. I can't afford that car. Sweet. That would be awesome. We get to come once every 4 months and visit mom and dad, and it's magic for the kids. And by the way, you don't have any kids yet. It's like 4 or 5 years down the road. Right? And this is important. Have the values conversation. Your wife has said, hey, if we have children, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. Cool. What must be true financially for us then? And let's start planning for that right now. Let's don't get surprised and go bananas like young couples in their early 30s do financially when they find themselves dual income. Let's go out every night. Let's us live hyper-intentional. So after 24 months, we don't owe anybody anything in the world except for a mortgage. Let's don't go out to eat a whole bunch when we're newlyweds. Let's just grind it and get a humongous emergency fund so we're safe. And then when we have our first kid, we can all exhale. It's going to be awesome, just how we planned it. And then my last thing to you, James, before I let you go, almost always when I talk to a young man who's like, I don't know, I should, I know everything's right. That guy, when he looks in the mirror, doesn't believe he's worth hitching his wagon to. So you've talked to me about your future wife. You've talked to me about her potential mother's health challenges. You've talked to me about your parents and potential moving and finances. I want you to look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I a man worth marrying? Am I a marryable man? And the answer to that question is yes. But underneath that is, what are the things you need to lean into? Your tendencies, your addictions, your challenges, places where you want to grow. Lean in there. And that's a problem for you to fix, not for the external world to come solve for you. Thanks for the call, my brother. Send me a picture when y'all decide when y'all going to get married. If you get married in Nashville, I'll come. Party on, dude.